Hi, this is Mark from LongIslandWatch.com, and as you can tell, I am not in my usual space. Today I am in the lovely city of Philadelphia, joined by Tristano.
How are you?
Good, sir. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. Welcome to Philly.
Well, thank you very much. I've never been here before, the city of brotherly love.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
nuts,
crazy.
nuts.
I'll give you a tour later on, yeah.
So, for those of you who don't know, Tristano is from the Urban Gentry channel on YouTube. Last year you made some news. You had joined the Watchbox family, I believe.
Absolutely, yeah.
So kind of turned your entrepreneurship and this thing that you built into...
I don't know about entrepreneurship. That's very kind, but...
Hey, YouTube star turns into...
No.
Come on, people must recognize you in the street.
They do, but it's a little bit strange. But you know, I'm just doing what I love.
Yeah, that's all
it.
we're here to do. I'm doing what I love. I follow my passion to start a business.
Absolutely. Well, that's why I got into contact with you 5 years ago.
Oh my goodness! So the story of how we met goes back to around 2014. Tristano had purchased. And I like to say the story because people sometimes somehow think we are collaborating and in business together. We are not. We're strictly friendship. So Tristano bought a Squally from me back in around 2014. He did a review on it.
Is it the one you're wearing?
It is the... I think you actually might have bought the black
first.
one.
Yeah.
Yes. It's we'll do a wrist check in a second.
Yeah,
I'm
right,
sorry.
right. No, that's fine.
He purchased it, did a review on it. I knew nothing about YouTube, nothing about your channel. I didn't have my own channel. And apparently one weekend I sold a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
And like 2 weeks later, you reached out to me and explained that you had done a video and your viewers liked it. And I tied all the data points together. And I was like, oh, it was this guy. And sure enough, a friendship was born. So
nice.
You please.
Oh, I'm wearing the 30 Atmos, which actually is tied into that because through my love of that brand, I went to Switzerland. I met Andrea, the boss there, and
good guy.
Yeah, wonderful.
Very
Shout out
guy.
to Andrea and the whole Squalid team. And
absolutely.
Then I guess my role was a bit like a consultant. They asked me, what would you like to see? And I said, and they showed me all these vintage models. And I said, you've got to bring this back because it had a smaller case.
Right.
It's what they did for Blank Pan. Actually, before the 50 Atmos. This is one of their earliest cases they did for Blank Pan. I said, because the original was very small. It was 34 millimeters.
Some of their stuff in their archives.
Yeah. Tiny. I think people don't understand.
They don't understand. We can almost make like a ring watch out of some of this stuff.
Yeah. And I said, if you make it 39 or 38, you're in business.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
absolutely.
because the case is such a beautiful case. And then I think a year passed, and they sent me a sketch, and they said, "What do you think of this?" And I was like, "Oh my god, that's gorgeous! Can we make it no date? Can we put the blue and the blah blah?
What else can you do to it?
Yeah. And so
customize it.
So it was just back and forth, and then they honored me because you have to understand why they sign it twice.
Very important. I try to say this too, but I'll let it come from you.
Right. So because they started off as a case maker for other brands, they would, you'd have the brand at the top. So for the Blank Pan, it would be Blank Pan under the 12, and underneath you'd have Squally. And then when I think it was 60, I've done it in a history video, but I can't remember dates to save my life. But when they launched into their own brand, they would sign it twice.
Twice, because
case maker, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
To kind of
it's like a nod to their heritage,
exactly,
nod to their past,
exactly.
Not abandoning who they are,
which
I can appreciate.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I own 3 or 4 Squallies.
Right. I own about the same here.
I think you have serial number 1.
Yes.
Serial number 2 is actually in my office.
Oh, is it?
Put a big sticker on it and do not sell.
Do not sell.
I may be taking serial number 2.
Right. That's understandable.
So that's your wrist check. I am doing an Islander, still rocking it, and as my 1521 polished Ocean.
You're always pulling a Schwarzkopf.
Yeah. Oh, always. It's almost a Frankel. But,
General
Frankel.
Frankel.
I know Schwarzkopf was long predates me. And,
I'm going to call you General Franco.
I've been doing
it.
General Frankel. I've been doing it for many years. My wife you know, when someone says you're wearing 2 watches and my wife is around, she just kind of nods her, she kind of rolls her eyes and just walks away. You know, it's kind of embarrassing.
Do you ever get comments about that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, some people, you know, I filter a lot of YouTube comments out you know, automatically, and you know, I'll go and check them out. And you know, people, I don't know.
It irritates.
Again, just do what you want to do. Do what I want to do. You know, if you wear bracelets, you could wear bracelets on both wrists.
Yeah.
You could wear rings on both hands.
Yeah.
You wear shoes on both feet. So
yeah,
maybe a stretch on that one. But no, I have a lot of watches, and you know, it's the best way to cycle through them as fast as you can. Although I do find that the 6 or so that are in the current rotation are the ones I wear for a long time before I reach out, you know, pull a new one out.
So you're getting double enjoyment.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I must say that because I used to do it a little bit, influenced by you and General Frankel and General Schwarzkopf.
At least he had a good reason for it.
Yeah, but actually, that's what I was going to say is I only do it now when I travel. Okay. Because then I'll have a GMT. Right. I'll have the Pepsi usually when I travel. If I don't have that, then I'll have 2. I'll have London and New York.
Time in New York. Time.
Yeah, and it's
Philadelphia time.
Oh, Philadelphia time now. Yeah.
It's like another world, but the same time zone.
Yeah, it is. You'll see, and when I take you around, it does feel like another world. It doesn't fit. It's not New York at all, and it's so crazy because it's just an hour and a bit away. Okay, got it. You know, but it's another world entirely, and anyway.
Well, so you're getting this, so I wanted to ask you, so where did you start? You know, when I met you on YouTube, you were reviewing watches, but you also review menswear and some other stuff. So how did you start out, and how did you get to, you know, where you are, you know, today, and, you know, moving around and stuff?
Right. Okay, so it's not really a long story. So I got onto YouTube because I had a lot of downtime. I was working as an audio engineer, and the way it works is after working in a studio, I did an internship. They offered me a full-time position. I didn't.
This is back in New York.
Yeah, back in New York. Okay. Yeah, I always lived in Astoria, Queens, and I turned the job down because I wanted to go freelance, and I also wanted to kind of move away. This is the time when Napster and all of that stuff. So the music industry was going in the toilet. To the pond. Yeah. So I kind of thinking, I don't really want to be stuck in a studio, and also like they're dark places. You don't see sunlight for like seriously. The seasons will change, and you're in the studio.
Worse than a casino.
Yeah. At least that's fun. And anyway.
Another video, perhaps.
Yeah, another video. So I started doing recording on commercials, that kind of stuff. Just everything from holding up the boom to anything I could do. And then in the downtime, because you're waiting for another gig to come along. Right.
I was like contract work.
Yeah, and I remember the first time I got a big check from doing this freelance. I bought it's such a stereotype, but I bought my first Datejust. Okay. Yeah. And it was a quartz one, interesting, and it's funny because now they're kind of starting to appreciate, but back then nobody wanted it. Yeah, it was. But I loved it. I thought it was great. Blue diamond.
I have a buddy that collects oyster quartz.
Yeah, they're very particular.
They are.
Yeah,
angular cases. Stuff.
Yeah. So no. So then, with the downtime, I did reviews, and then I was like, well, I'll just talk about things I love. I talked about literature. I talked about movies, kind of men's attires, just stuff that interested me. There's never been an agenda. I never wanted to be famous or anything like that. But what's interesting is when I talked about watches, and this is back five years ago. I can't.
Well, yeah. Well, we started 5 years ago.
Yeah,
so probably around there. Yeah.
5 years ago. There wasn't really that much on YouTube about watches, and a few of them went viral, and it just kind of I just focused more on the watches.
You knew, like, you know, YouTube reigns, and whatever people respond to. Yeah. So you went in that direction.
Yeah, and it's funny because I still get comments now when I do non-watch stuff. Topics. People are like, oh, stick to the watches, and they don't realize that that wasn't what I started at. That's why it was the Urban Gentry.
It's interesting that you start. I know you were, like, when we first met, you were doing a bag and some other stuff.
I'll still do I love leather goods. I love my jackets and my bits and bobs, and I still love cinema. I'm absolutely obsessed.
Bits and bobs.
Yeah, bits and bobs.
So where were you born?
So yes.
So people.
So if you
if
you can't tell by my very thick New York accent, I was born in London. Father's from Italy, mother's English,
okay.
And I moved here, married a New Yorker, moved about, God, I'm going to get in trouble if I get this wrong, but it was, let's just say over a decade ago.
Okay,
and,
no problem.
And yeah, I haven't really looked back. So,
got it,
yeah.
got it. Okay, so you doing the watches, it's progressing nicely, you're still doing, kind of like me, in the beginning I was selling watches online, and I was working as an aerospace engineer. So you're doing audio engineering, and then you're doing YouTube.
Yeah, and then just slowly that petered out, and I just enjoyed doing the watch videos. I never really did this full time until about a year ago when Watchbox really liked what I was doing.
Okay.
And they kind of just said, look, you can buy the watches, you can do these videos, and
it's like a dream come true.
Yeah, do it as a partnership, right. And so if you do it full time, we'll help you.
Right.
So that's what I've been doing.
Because my channel's very different, right? Because I'm the voice of LongIslandWatch.com. So
yeah.
YouTube is. And I've thought about doing just a video devoted to this. YouTube is not the way I make my living, but it helps me. But it helps me make my living because it's the voice of my store. Whereas when you're a YouTube reviewer or a vlogger, you rely on it's all the ad revenue, it's all the YouTube revenue. Whereas I have a brand built around it, so it's another stream.
Right.
When you're trying to earn your living on YouTube, it's very difficult. And
it is.
Well, I guess what I was trying to get at is if you want the latest. Name a watch to review, you got to either find someone willing to lend it to you, go out and buy it yourself and flip it, or now you have access to anything you want. So just to me, it seems like wow, it's like almost like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, it is. And I did stipulate that something I'm very adamant about was that the review has to be a proper review. It can't be. It's not a pitch. I'm gonna say the negatives.
Right.
There's always going to be. It's a standard format, and I apply it to everything. And it's interesting you say about it is tricky if you don't have connections to get hold of watches.
Correct.
There's still brands. I mean, I could name you 5 brands off the top of my head I know that refuse to lend watches
out for a review.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know why it is. Maybe they're scared of the negatives, which is ridiculous. Right. Because I try to be.
Get yourself out there.
Yeah, I try to be very, very fair.
Right.
In fact, sometimes I feel bad when I'm overly critical. Then I think, have I been? It's a balancing act.
Right.
So I said that it's got to be a
proper review.
Yeah, a proper review. Because otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, and to that end, as a store owner, I get people saying to me, "Hey, I want to." I'm from review channel XYZ. I'm going to review this watch in your store. Send it to me. Here's my address. And my reply, quite tongue in cheek, is usually, okay, so there's an add to cart button on the website. You click that button. You check out. We send it to you, and you can review it.
Yeah.
It still amazes me that so many people want watches for free.
I know. Yeah.
And I always make the analogous discussion that it's like a restaurant reviewer walking into a restaurant and saying, I need my meal for free. I'm going to review this restaurant. And the two things, I guess honesty in journalism is very difficult when you're reviewing a product.
It is.
Getting someone to loan. I've had channels tell me, we don't do loaners. I can't do a loaner because I put too much money into the video. So I need to have something at the end of the day when I'm ddone.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate.
I don't really agree with that, but that's my opinion. It's interesting because I get emails asking for brands to do this, that, and the other, and I'm very, very sorry, but you just mentioned like people demand.
Yes.
There's no like, hello, how do you do?
Yes.
Please, thank you.
Yes.
If you possibly have the time.
And then there's typos which drive me insane.
Yeah.
Grammatical errors which drive me bonkers.
Oh God, I feel terrible because I know that email that
Don't worry about it. No, but it was, usually it's, dear insert name here. And then it's some kind of form letter. And then what's funny nowadays is I'll get people that say, send me the Islander watch. I've got,
Such and such.
20,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I'm like, yeah, but I've got 116,000. I mean, do your research before you reach out to people. I mean, make sure that you're pertinent to their business. But so from New York to Philadelphia, what's the biggest difference? What do you like? What do you not like?
Oh God. Okay, I'll start with the positives and negatives. That sounds like a review.
Yeah.
The food is great. There's some really great restaurants here. I love the sense of history. I mean, I feel like I'm in Europe.
Okay.
But then people with American accents, it's quite peculiar.
Right.
Yeah. The streets. I mean, you'll see in a moment a lot of architecture is colonial, Georgian, which just makes me feel like I'm in London.
Okay.
So there's a kind of sense that I'm home. Because America is my home,
right?
Half my family is American, so it's like it is my home. But this is a little bit more my home.
Got it.
Because it's like my birthplace. So,
got it.
And I love the fact that it's smaller, and I don't have a car. I walk everywhere.
No car.
Yeah.
So like New York City, almost, right?
Yeah, almost.
Most people don't need a car in the city. How's public transportation good? And
I haven't even used it.
You don't need it
because
it's small enough.
Yeah, I just walk everywhere. And I do like that sense of history is very important. And one of my dreams always was to go to the art museum.
Okay.
And I actually did a vlog about visiting it 2 years ago now, because I've been with Watchbox almost a year now. So we're coming up with I know, it's crazy how time's flying. So I'm coming up on the anniversary of that. And what's crazy is that almost a year previous, I had visited Philly on my own volition. It was I didn't really. I was familiar with Watchbox.
Right.
I later on became a customer because they buy and trade.
Okay.
And anyway, so I visited. I love Philly. One of my dreams was to go to the art museum, which is just incredible, because I love art and
clearly
incredible art collection.
Around, I can
Clearly. So I
have no culture.
That's not true. That's not true. Horology is culture.
Oh, that's true. Thank you.
So, yeah, and then when Watchbox reached out to me, it was a very natural thing. I was like, well, I'm already a customer.
Right.
I believe in what you're doing. Because that's the other thing, is that people ask me, oh, do you know a decent watchmaker? Do you know a decent used seller for this?
Right.
Do you need a blah, blah, blah? And I only recommend people that I've done business.
Right.
That's why
exactly.
I wouldn't recommend, if you weren't good at your job,
right,
and respectful and stood by your products and had
customers.
No, I wouldn't.
Obviously,
it doesn't matter. You could have all the money in the world. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where would I be by recommending somebody? It doesn't. I think very long term.
Yeah.
I move slow and I think long term.
Good.
So
always calculating.
Yeah. Not quite. I mean, I just want to stay positive, move, and I think the best advice is never to do anything that would ever offend anybody, and always try and do the right thing. At least try and do the right thing.
That is very true. I make sure my kids might watch my videos, so I always. And this is the way I really am.
Mm-hmm. You're very.
I'll never curse in my videos or anything, because I want to be proud. It was a very quick, funny story. Yeah. I went to a field trip yesterday with my daughter at school, and she tells me the story at the end of the day. She says, my teacher asked me, what does your daddy do? Because I'm always available for field trips, because I own my own business, so I can always leave when I want to. And her answer was, he's famous on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
And he has his own silver play button. I was like, oh, that's beautiful. I'm like, nice. I'm so proud.
So now you're like one of those cool dads.
Exactly. I was like, oh, I just got elevated.
That's wicked. That is fantastic. I love that.
No, I don't think they watch my videos, but still. Every so often my son will send me a screen grab from his phone. He's like, oh, I'm trying to watch something about Fortnite or Grand Theft Auto, and you popped up.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
But doing what I love to do, and I guess you're doing what you love to do.
Yeah, just doing what I love to do.
How about what's next for you on the wrist? Anything?
Next for me on the wrist?
Ideas?
Yeah, I did a video about my latest grails. My long-term grails don't really change. I'm looking at Patek. I'm looking at AP. I'm looking at FP Jean, and everything that they have in the Watchbox inventory, because it's just there.
It's just there, so you can handle it.
But I'm still in love with this the Roman Gautier micro rotor. It's Insight micro rotor.
Mm-hmm.
I did a trip to Switzerland like 2 years ago.
Okay.
And Roman Gautier himself showed me around the factory, and he showed me. He's an absolute gentleman, and he showed me every single step of the production process, from the raw materials to the cutting of all the parts, the pinions, the wheels, the bluing of this. I mean, and he knows every process.
Right.
Actually,
he's a watchmaker.
Actually, I think he has an engineering background.
Does he really?
Yeah. So he's put the fireproof gloves on, and he'll start bluing bluing the screw in front of you. It sounds a bit naughty. He'll start.
Keep it G-rated.
Yeah. He'll start thermally bluing components. That's a better way of saying it. In front of you, and it was like, can you see that with the camera? It was great, and
an art.
I was just but the thing what speaks to me is that his design is so pure and it's so tastefully done. It's not. Some of the high-end brands, it's almost like they try a bit too hard, or they're a bit too quirky. The logic behind the micro rotor, or his micro rotor, is that it has to be visible from both sides. So it's kind of like, it's kind of spinning. It's almost suspended. It's very nice.
Got it.
And the way he does his decoration, it's not blingy. You wouldn't guess that it's like the price it is, which is the reason why it's also long term. So
I need a long term one.
Yeah. Short term, ton of Casios, ton of G-Shocks. They're just so fun.
Oh, awesome. I love hearing that.
Yeah, I just, I am going to go back to Seiko, but I want to do a trip in Japan, and I want to buy it.
Awesome.
Yeah, buy it in Japan, do a trip, factory tour like that.
That would be nice.
What about you?
That would be nice. Yeah.
Oh, well, you just discussed yours in another video.
Another video.
Yeah.
I am seeking a 116509, which is a blue dial white gold Daytona, and as my viewers know, my big thing is blue dials, and that's just another blue dial that's currently.
You don't have a blue dial like it?
No, I don't. Well, I don't know. I mean, how many blue dials?
Do you have a blue chronograph?
A blue chronograph? No.
Well, there you go.
I don't know if I own, other than my Speedmaster, I don't think I own any other mechanical chronos or auto chronos.
Interesting.
Oh, I have a Seagull. That doesn't count.
Right.
Sorry.
Why not?
I don't know. Well, because when I think mechanical and automatic chronograph, I just think higher in price. And then I look at a Seagull for $299 or whatever it is, and I'm like, okay, so that's still in the affordable sector.
Yeah.
When you think automatic chrono and stuff, my mind goes high.
Yeah.
But it's not the Daytona. It's not the chrono that I want. It's just
the look.
It's just the look. It's the overall package. I was in the Rolex store in Vegas about 2 years ago. When the time I bought my wife a chocolate dial Datejust.
Right.
And the sales lady was very kind, even before we even started buying anything. And she took out for us a stainless, a white gold, and a platinum Rolly. And because we were talking about the differences in appearance, and it's amazing how much whiter white gold is than steel. And it's amazing how much whiter platinum is than white gold. Forget the weight. The weights are ridiculous. So you pick a platinum, it's like holding a lead brick.
Yeah.
But the difference in the whiteness is just the white gold. I mean, the platinum would be, maybe that's my long-term grail, a platinum. That's nuts.
Yeah, that is nice.
I can't.
Have you ever worn a platinum watch for a long time?
No, just for 10, 15 seconds, and it is like.
Oh, I know. I borrowed a platinum day for about a week.
Yeah.
From Watchbox,
and,
right?
He a little bulked up.
Yeah, no. But at first I was like, this is ridiculous. I can't wear this. Yeah. But then I got addicted. Because you feel it's there.
It's there. It's a total antithesis of titanium.
Yeah.
Right.
But as a luxury, I think it's a little bit tougher as well.
Yes.
So you felt it, and every time I was smiling, and I didn't even have to look at the watch because I just knew it was there.
Well, the stealth wealth takes on. That's what people call the platinum watch is stealth wealth.
Right.
The layman will look at it and say
he's
wearing a stainless steel Datejust. He can get him used for $5,000.
Yeah.
We don't know that he's wearing a platinum Datejust for $0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy too because it was smooth bezel. It's not. There's no bling on it. It's
Right.
very
Understated,
Yeah.
under the radar, and that's what I like about the Daytona. To me,
Right.
it's understated, and I dig that. And,
Yeah.
you know, like I'll wear my UN. I have a Ulysse Nardin Maximum chronometer, and I love it to bits. And people have people look at that. That's a really nice watch. I don't have to worry about them thinking that it's an $8,000 watch or it's a $100 watch. I don't care what you think. It's a nice looking watch. It looks good. It makes me feel good, and you know, doesn't have a name that most people know, and that's what I kind of dig about it.
It's a very distinctive style that actually reminds me of the old chronometers. Well, of course.
Yeah, shipboard chronometers.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
that's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we good.
Are you happy
Yeah.
with that? I don't know. This is your video.
I know, but you know, I'm like, you know, my videos usually short, you know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most.
Yeah.
But, you know, I feel like we've been talking for a while, so I think we'll wrap it up.
Right, well,
you good?
thank you very
A pleasure
much.
to have you. Thank you so much. You can check him out. I'll put a link to his channel down
Please
below.
Please do.
And you have a Facebook group as well.
Yeah, Facebook.
Give a shout out to all your socials. What do you got? Go ahead, use it.
Instagram. I'll just send it to you. Put them in.
Put in the link just to make sure we get everybody. But if you know me, you more than likely know him. So anyway, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.
Okay, ciao.